We've got some new leaks in the Star Wars fandom. It's always fun to look at these. Now, none of this is confirmed, and unfortunately, probably we'll never know for sure unless Leslie Headland confirms them. But we have some plot points of where Season 2 of The Acolyte was going to go. This is a video from Star Wars Meg talking about some of the leaks that have come out. Let's take a listen and see if Season 2 would have been any better.
Leslie did have some ideas. Let's dive into them. So the first reveal is that there is going to be a 1-year time skip. There's a cold open. Osha is being tested by Qimir. It's a gladiator-type opening scene where Osha is being forced to fight in a battle arena on Tatooine, pretending to be enslaved by the Hutts in order to win her freedom. The twist, as I said, is that this is all a Sith plan, part of Osha's training. Her objective is to assassinate the Hutt. But for Qimir, it's a double whammy. He has his reasons for wanting him dead. And this kind of goes together with what Qimir told the Jedi when they were looking for Mae, when he was posing as a smuggler. He has a dual identity and had run-ins with the Hutts. In the second season, this was...
So she's a gladiator for the Hutts, pretending to just fight. Okay. I mean, 1-year time skip. Now, I already don't think there's much you could do to save what they've done. I really didn't like the narrative choices and the way they told the story, and even the fact that where it ended with Qimir and Osha and Mae and all of that, like fighting as a gladiator on Tatooine. Let's see what else.
Was going to come full circle, and the plan works, but Osha messes up, and they're caught on camera escaping. Back on Coruscant, we cut to Mae, Osha's sister at the Jedi Temple. If you remember, she's been brainwashed.
Brainwashed. Because yes, Mae needed to survive. Like what Sith Lord would just let someone live? How much punishment would Qimir get from Plagueis? Is he get sent to timeout for all this? For botching it so badly?
At this
so
point,
dumb.
She's working as part of the Edu Corps and friends with one of Yoda's current Padawans, a Jedi in her mid-20s known as Koli Balel, and she's about to take on her trials. Vernestra and Yoda are both still actively involved with Mae, and they're quite...
Because they have to be. Because they have to cover this all up. They have to make sure this girl doesn't remember anything. Because otherwise, she might tell people. She might tell people that there are Sith. There really are Sith in the universe.
Detective. Yoda is a grandfather figure to her, so by the sounds of it, as was teased in the season finale, Yoda was going to have a bigger role in the next season. They say near the end of episode 1, there is a playful chess scene between Yoda and Mae, parts recreation, parts meditation and lesson. Then we go back to Qimir.
So now Yoda starts training Mae.
Yeah, like I said, he has a dual identity. He is a Sith, but also a representative of the banking clan, which further ties him to his Sith master, Darth Plagueis. They confirm the unknown planet was indeed Boldemnik.
He still has his master Plagueis, and he has an apprentice. They don't care. They don't care about anything.
From the expanded universe, and Qimir runs a mining operation there for the clan. By this point, Osha and Qimir have a relationship, and they're romantically involved. Osha doesn't like Qimir working for the banking clan. It's a distraction from his Sith ideology, and goes against Osha's idea of freedom.
I am so glad we did not get this. Like, why would this have been interesting? Again, I know there's a lot of you, and maybe you're watching this, maybe you showed up here because you like The Acolyte. Hey, more power to you. I really didn't, and I'll dunk on it, but that's fine if you liked it. What was really intriguing about this? Why was this relationship something that you liked? Because for me, it made zero sense. It made absolutely no sense. I don't know. And honestly, the whole power dynamics of the whole thing make it kind of weird and creepy that someone's master would then be in a romantic relationship with them. Doesn't that rub you the wrong way, that someone in authority like that would abuse maybe his authority to mess with her? I don't know.
As a Sith, where he insists the money helps him give them freedom. At this point, he's also got a sarcastic admin droid known as Dee, who was written with Natasha Lyonne in mind. The originator of these leaks seems to have had a close connection with Leslie Headland to know about all of this, if they're true. Now, do you guys remember, Rancor was about to do a full investigation of the Jedi? That is about to take place. He blindsides Vern with a ton of damning evidence in front of the Senate, and an external review begins. All Jedi rank of Knight and above have to have all of their activities audited.
Okay, so they're going to audit review all of the Jedi. What is Yoda going to do? Yoda going to wipe it all? Yoda going to cover it up? Like, of course they're going to do an audit. And how would they not find out that the Sith, that there were Jedi dead by Sith? Like, how?
One dangling question is how we got this information, leading viewers to believe there is more to Rancor than we thought. Who is he secretly working with? The final scene in the episode is a training sequence with Qimir and Osha. During this, we see an emotionally charged montage with visions of both of their pasts. We see Chimir's time as a Jedi, training under Venestra, and hints at how his relationship with the Jedi soured. They part the water separating the landing pad and Chimir's island using the Force, walking through like Moses. They also say there is some Moana influence on this.
Moana and Moses meet Qimir. This sounds fantastic.
And the final shot is of the two characters kissing as the water crashes back into place. A modern take on From Here to Eternity's iconic scene. Now, I'm not gonna lie, some of this sounds like a logical continuation of the first season, some of it...
A logical continuation of what was illogical. I appreciate Meg for being positive. She's trying her best. She was honest about her not liking the Acolyte in previous things. But man, this is just... Ugh.
It does sound pretty cool, but once more, as with the first season, doesn't sound like my flavor of Star Wars, although the lightsaber sequences do sound really awesome, and it would have been nice to see the scummy underworld of the High Republic, the Hutts during this time, and the
yeah, like we didn't get in Boba Fett.
Mysterious Briggo the Hutt, the supposed slaver in charge, Gladiator vibes, Dune 2 vibes, and ultimately, while these are not verified, I really wouldn't be surprised if they're true. The Qimir stuff sounds a lot like some of the early leaks for the first season, but were hinted at, such as Chimir's dual identity, and an exploration of it. There is no doubt the most important aspect of this first episode is setting up for Nestor and Yoda. I know we're getting prequel stories for the Acolyte, and some of this, including Chimir's flashbacks, could be a part of them, but seeing those on screen would definitely...
Look at that, like, AI generated. I know it says cover not final, but come on.
But it sounds like they didn't really want to do much with Darth Plagueis, at least not in the premiere. I would say it's an overall improvement to the first season, but the focus on romance doesn't really captivate me as a viewer. As you guys know, I really wanted a Sith-driven show, not just their passions, but their philosophy and brutality. So with this in mind, if we take a look at some of Leslie Headland's comments on the second season, she said this: I have a lot of ideas, a lot of stuff that I told Kathleen Kennedy early on, in terms of where I want the season and seasons to go, the conflicts I see happening, especially in the second season, and this comment lines up with the leaks. The fact Osha and Qimir are together, but have a lot of personal issues, a lot of stuff to work through. Same thing with Mae in the Edu Corps. Even though she had her mind wiped, is she gonna snap? Is she prone to the dark side? Leslie said, but I've been working non-stop for a very long time. I have a lot of ideas. I'm taking a much-needed break before I get into the writer's room again, and I'd like to see how the show performs. Well, I guess that comment aged very badly because a second season isn't happening at this point. She says, viewers will be interested in seeing where this goes. But again, it's worth reiterating,
viewers are not interested in where this goes, and that was the problem. No one was interested. Okay, I'll link the full video down below. You can go watch the rest of it. Here are my thoughts. I think that the way that this is depicted, and again, this sounds like it's just a premiere episode, the way that, the canceled plot revealed, this leak sounds pretty similar to the first season. And now, of course, who knows? Who knows if this is real or not? And I'm not going to sit here and give my version of what I think would be good, because I don't think there is a path forward that is good. Just so many problems and issues, and it just was not compelling a story enough, and it just doesn't really make sense with the rest of Star Wars, particularly this relationship between Qimir, Plagueis, and Osha, with Mae having her mind wiped. Like, all of this together just seems really weird and strange. And I'm not saying that it couldn't fit in Star Wars, but the way that it was gone about in season 1 and the way that it was just done and written was just not good. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't compelling. The flash in and out. I mean, there's just so many issues. I'm not here to talk about season 1, but in season 2, I don't hate the idea of looking at the Hutts and the underworld, but this again is not a show about the Sith. That's what we had wanted. That's what we had been told. That's what we were all excited about when we first saw the first ideas of the trailers of the Acolyte, was this idea of investigating the Sith. And Meg is exactly right. We got none of that. We got this vague weirdness and no claiming of really being a Sith Lord, and kind of alluding to Plagueis as his master, and no understanding of the rule of 2 or the way that they've been hiding or what they've been doing all this time. There was so many interesting things that could have been done from that perspective, but the desire from Leslie Headland was more, hey, let's show the corruption of the Jedi. Let's show how bad the Jedi are for not letting other people use the Force, because they're the Force police that just hate everything about everyone else, and they can't let lesbian witches exist in Star Wars. I mean, that's what the show was. And season 2 just doesn't sound compelling. It's not very interesting. I'm not really hearing any of the motivations being revealed. And Yoda having a bigger role actually worries me a ton, because the way that Yoda was used, and again, you go back to some of the original interviews that Leslie did and talked about, she's like, oh, they'd never let us use Yoda. And just the way that she would say it, and everything just rubs me the wrong way about this. Glad there is no second season. What do you think? Are these leaks true, not true? What do you think? Hey, if you want to give me what you would do with the second season, yeah, let me know down below. If it's interesting, you might make it in the next video, and I'll highlight the comment. Guys, thanks for being here. Remember, the Force will be with you always.